The Dune movie. The greatest, best movie I have seen in a long time. Let's talk about Dune. I've been waiting a long time for a good adaptation of this movie, Dune. But before we get into my thoughts on the movie, make sure you hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Join me down on the Discord. You can also follow me on my Bookstagram, which I will have linked below as well. So let's get into the Dune movie. This movie, based off of Frank Herbert's classic book, Dune, which in my opinion is one of the best science fiction book series ever. It is a classic, it is a phenomenal story, one of the best that I have ever read, and it's about time we have a good movie. I've been waiting so long for a good adaptation of Dune, or really an adaptation of Dune, because let's face it, the other adaptations, they just didn't add up, they just weren't that great. Some were okay, some were absolutely terrible. In fact, I think the 1984 Dune made it onto my list of worst adaptations video, which you could check out on the channel. I'll try to remember to link that below. Anyway, let's get into the new Dune movie, which is actually set up to be a two-part movie. So we only have the first half of the book in this movie, which is, well, done right as far as I'm concerned, at least for how we saw it set up in this movie. I absolutely love this movie. It's just amazing. I love the way the Bene Gesserit look and feel, the Sardaukar warriors, and just everything about this movie was just done so well. And I like that that this is being split up into two movies, with the suggestion of Dune Messiah possibly being developed into a feature film for a third movie, which would be absolutely amazing to see. And I really hope that happens, because let's face it, this is just a fantastic story all around. And I think Denis Villeneuve, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I think that he's probably doing a pretty good job adapting this stuff into a movie, and I am so happy that he did. And really, I felt that this was the first movie that really stuck to the story well and effectively, and really gave that look that we were looking for. I love the look of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. I think that they did a really good job with his character. Paul Atreides, Duke Leto Atreides, the Lady Jessica, Chani, Stilgar. I love all these classic characters that were put into this story by Frank Herbert and adapted so well into this movie that is absolutely a cinematic marvel and amazing from start to finish. I like the look of the guild navigators that they had within this movie as well, and I just thought it fits so well with everything that we're seeing here, and how the political intrigue was set up. And I guess having read the book and being very familiar with the story, I kind of see more of the political intrigue than maybe somebody who's just seen the movie and hasn't actually read the books. But everything, the way it was set up, this city on Arrakis, or Arrakis City, the sandworms. Now, the sandworms were amazing. I wanted to see more of the sandworms, but they just didn't, or there wasn't as much sandworm in this movie as I had hoped to see. But I think we're probably going to see a lot more of these sandworms in the upcoming movie. I love how they even put little Muad'Dib desert mouse into there. I thought that was so cool. And just, honestly, little things like that could have just as easily been left out without really affecting the story. But Muad'Dib is certainly an important part of the story, and the little desert mouse being part of that integral part of the story as well. I thought that was really well done, and I just loved everything about it. And I will say one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion, was the attack on Arrakis City by the Harkonnens, and just the way that played out. I mean, we call it a battle, but it really wasn't a battle. It was more of a complete destruction and slaughterhouse by the Harkonnens against House Atreides on Arrakis City, and his attempt to completely wipe out and destroy the entire Atreides line. And that whole scene itself was just phenomenally well done and just cinematically awesome in every respect. I absolutely loved that part of it, and it was just so much fun to watch. I love everything about this movie. I love the fact it's done. You can bet that I'm going to be watching it numerous times when it comes out to video on demand. I'll probably be watching it numerous times. This time I'm going to make my wife watch it, because I actually went to this movie with a friend of mine, but she will see it eventually, and I cannot wait already for part 2. whenever that manages to come out, and who knows when that'll come out at this point, but I am so excited for part 2. It's going to be amazing to see that in part 2. I can't wait to see how Paul Atreides rises to his glory, essentially, after facing the devastation that he has faced from the destruction of his house and the attack by the Harkonnens. Everything about this movie is just so good. Absolutely so good. And let's talk, and Duncan Idaho. I love his character. I love how Jason Momoa portrayed Duncan Idaho. When I first heard Jason Momoa was going to be cast as Duncan Idaho, I thought, that doesn't feel right to me. It just didn't seem to quite fit the way I'd imagined Duncan Idaho. But he does such a good job. And I love the way he portrays the character in this movie, and I just thought it was done so well. I love Momoa as Duncan Idaho, and I love the way that character was brought to life on the screen. And just everything about the casting, the wardrobe, everything about it was just done so well. And I absolutely love that about this movie. Now, I will say this, one part of the movie which I don't think, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at this, how well you done it, it's always going to look cheesy to me and just kind of funny. The Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, he's known within the Dune universe, he's a rather large individual, and he has like these suspensor belts that he wears that are supposed to help lift him up because he's so morbidly obese that he needs to have like these anti-grav things on his body to lift him up. And even in this movie, when he kind of rises and floats and flies over and across the room, it still looks cheesy, no matter what type of, or matter how well or badly or poorly done any adaptation is, that part of it still comes across as cheesy, and it is a kind of a key component of his character. When you read it in the actual Dune books, it doesn't come across that cheesy. It actually can come across very intimidating, but I still felt that it was done very in a kind of a cheesy way within this book, or within this movie, I should say. And it's just funny to watch, really. Which, you know, is another great thing about movies. They do have that comic relief thrown in there from time to time within the movie itself, which I think is a really cool and good thing. That is always a good thing, to have some comic relief thrown in there. But everything about this movie was just so well done. I love the look of the still suits. I love the costuming. I love the, you know, look of the Freeman on Dune and everything else about that. The ornithopters were just so cool to see in real life. It's like basically these helicopters, but they're designed to look like insects flying, or these bugs flying with the wings flapping at an extremely fast rate. You know, you gotta see it. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it to know what I'm referring to. But everything about this movie was just so well done, and I absolutely loved every aspect of it. And I could not recommend this movie more. Read the books, watch the movie. This is the first adaptation that I could honestly say was an adaptation done well. The first time I could honestly say that I absolutely love the adaptation for Dune, and I cannot wait to see more Dune movies come out. I can't wait to see part 2. They got the blue within blue eyes for the spice. Everything is just done so well with everything about this movie. And you know, while I was sitting there watching the movie, I honestly thought to myself, hey, this kind of looks like Star Wars a bit. And then I thought, wait a minute, no, that's not Star Wars. Star Wars looks like Dune, because let's face it, Dune, the book, was out long before Star Wars ever came out. And the reality is that Star Wars actually drew a lot of its inspiration from Dune. So Dune doesn't look like Star Wars. Star Wars looks like Dune. And I could honestly say that this is a better movie than any Star Wars film out there. And you know what? Star Wars fans, go ahead and hate on me for saying that. But Dune is better than Star Wars. I love it. And I really hope that this takes off and turns into another massive science fiction and phenomena like Star Wars did. I want to see that happen. I want to see Dune turn into this mega franchise just like Star Wars has, because it's about time that somebody does Dune right. And I'm so glad that they did. It is absolutely done right. I absolutely love this movie, and I will watch it again and again and again. Love what this is doing, and I really hope Disney keeps its hands off this, because I want to see this continue to be fantastic franchise. I can't wait to see more. I really hope we do see more. I want to see part 2. I want to see Dune Messiah, and I hope that we will be able to see all of the original 5 Dune books adapted to film like we have seen with the first Dune movie, and maybe even go back and do all the, all the other Dune books from before, like the Machine Wars would be a fantastic series to follow up after we finish with the Dune movies, and I really, really hope we get to see that, because this was amazing. I cannot wait to see more. So those are my thoughts on the Dune movie. Fantastic. Go see it if you haven't already. It will be amazing. You gotta go check it out. Those are my thoughts on the Dune movie. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join me on the Discord. That'll be linked below. Join me on my Bookstagram. That'll be linked below as well. And as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye!